Jerry Norton here. Welcome to another Watch Me video series where I take a real life deal and I break it down start to finish. You get to look over my shoulder and see firsthand how I invested in this property in Kalispell, Montana. Now, I know it's not much to look at right now. It's a vacant and dilapidated single family bi-level, or what they call in Montana, a raised ranch. It has 2 beds and a bath on the main level and 2 beds and a bath on the lower level. And it has a detached garage on a half-acre lot. Now, what I like about this property is it's got good bones, a solid foundation, and it's in a great location. My plan is to keep this property as a long-term rental, but having said that, if you're a wholesaler or a flipper, this series will be just as beneficial to you because I'll also show you how to look at this deal from a wholesaler or a flipper's perspective. Also, one of the things that's unique about this deal is I'm buying it using a creative financing method called contract for deed. Now, if you don't know what that is, don't worry, I'll explain that in detail as well, so keep watching. With this property, in order to maximize cash flow, I'm going to redesign and convert it into a duplex. So be sure to follow along in the series as I transform this property, and again, I'll be explaining everything along the way so you'll learn with a real life deal and not abstract theory. As of this recording, I have an executed contract with the seller and a closing scheduled in a few weeks. This property was listed for sale on market with a real estate agent. When it first came out for sale, it immediately went pending and then fell through. When it came back on market, I didn't see it for a few days, so I was late to the party. I immediately sent a text to the listing agent. "Hi Deb, I'm an investor interested in your listing on Reserve Drive. Can I call you to discuss?" And she replied, "Feel free to give me a call whenever it is convenient for you. I do have 3 offers that are being presented today." So when I called the agent Deb, my objective was to get my offer to the front of the line, which is not an easy task. I recorded that call and I'm going to play it for you and pause along the way to explain what's happening. Take a listen.
Hi, this is Deb.
Yeah, hi Deb. It's Jerry. I texted you about your listing on Reserve.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, nice to meet you. How you doing?
Nice to meet you too. I'm good. I have my granddaughter here, so if it's noisy, that's why.
Oh, I get it. I work from home and have kids, so no worries. Yeah, so I'm an investor. I've got a couple properties out here. I spend the summers here in Kalispell. Yeah, I saw this property here and very interested in this. You've got some action on it, sounds like.
Yes, yeah, it was under contract. We had a full price offer. The buyer was not able to bring in his down payment. It was under contract, full price offer, but
okay. So then it was pending, then went back active?
Yes.
Okay.
It's been active now for a week.
So where are you at with it today? You've got some offers on the table, but nothing accepted?
Well, I've got a verbal acceptance, but I haven't met with sellers yet.
Okay.
And so there was just a conversation with them this morning. There's probably still time for you to see the property.
Is that offer with another agent or?
Actually, it's with me.
Okay. I'm unrepresented as well, so I'd let you write the offer for me. Are you able to do that?
I probably can't do that. Like I'm going to have someone in the office do it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, however you would like to do it. If you want to credit it, reduce the commission, refer someone in your office. I'm flexible so that it's a win for you.
Okay. Let me then call an agent in my office and see if they can meet you to show you the property.
So like I mentioned, there was an offer that fell through, then it went active again, and now there is a verbal acceptance. That means the agent presented an offer to the seller verbally and he accepted, but it's not in writing, which means it's not yet official. So I asked if the offer was with another agent and she said it was with her. Now that is a very important question for me to ask, but you have to understand how agency works to know why. In real estate, typically there are 2 agents in a transaction, the listing agent and the buyer's agent. Commissions are typically 5 to 6% of the sale price and always paid by the seller and typically split between the listing agent and the buyer's agent. When the same agent represents both the seller and the buyer, that is called dual agency. So the verbal offer that this agent Deb had on the table is a dual agency offer. That means she'll get both sides of the commission. It also means naturally she's very motivated to see that offer get accepted because she'll essentially double her commission. Now, strategically creating a dual agency situation is what I've coined the double dip technique. That means I intentionally offer the listing agent to also represent me as the buyer's agent on the transaction, so that agent gets both sides of the commission and they're motivated to get my offer accepted and bring me their future deals. In fact, I teach this technique extensively on my channel, and to help you master this strategy, I'll give you my agent scripts for free so you know how to make offers and overcome objections. To get that free download, just go to agentofferscripts.com. So when I asked the agent if the verbal offer was with another agent and she said no, it was with her, I immediately offered her the same to represent me. She replied that she couldn't, but someone in her office could. When another agent in the same office as the listing agent is the buyer's agent, that is called designated agency, and it's the next best thing because the listing agent will get a referral fee. Now notice my response was she could do whatever she wanted with the buyer side. I did that to give her flexibility to structure a deal that was beneficial to her. Remember, I'm competing with 3 offers and a verbal acceptance. Now interestingly, later she changed her position and ended up writing the offer for me and double dipping after all. So because I'm up against the clock with an accepted verbal offer, I don't want to wait to see the property before making an offer. What I want to do is get my written offer in front of the seller before they accept another offer. Listen to how I try to navigate that.
Let me then call an agent in my office and see if they can meet you to show you the property.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a pretty good idea. My worry would be I lose some time and then it goes under contract. Is there a way to get an offer in writing in front of the seller with maybe a 1 day or 2 day contingency just to get in there? Then at least we're not losing time on that.
No, I don't think so. I don't think the sellers actually already had everybody wait for about 4 days to respond.
What if I waive my inspection?
Well, that would be fine, I guess. I think the seller would feel more confident too that you've seen the property. Because a lot of people have seen the property and don't want it.
Okay.
Way more than do.
Well, I'm an investor, so I get, flipping and remodeling and.
So I asked if I could write an offer before seeing the property with an inspection contingency. That way I didn't waste time and jeopardize losing the deal. My reasoning was that I'm an investor and I don't need to see the property because I understand renovating, whereas that is intimidating for unexperienced homeowners. Her response was typical, which was no, the seller would feel more confident in my offer if I've seen the property first. Now again, that is typical, especially since they have a lot of people that see the property and then not move forward with an offer. Now, since I do a lot of deals virtually, when an agent is adamant about seeing the property first, I'll find a local contractor who can walk the property for me. I call that boots on the ground. So after I told her that I understood the property needed renovated, she went on to explain that I couldn't flip the property and why. Take a listen.
He wouldn't let you, with this deal, he wants to be the bank. He wants $40,000 down, at least 6% interest. He does not want any prepayment at all for the first 5 years. And if there was one, it would be a 25% penalty.
Okay.
So he wants the interest on the money for 5 years.
So this is a creative financing deal where the seller is not just offering to sell the property with seller financing, he is requiring it. That means he will only sell it on seller finance terms. His terms are very clear. He wants to seller finance, which later I find out it's actually a contract for deed, which I'll explain what that means. But for now, just know that he wants to act as the bank and finance the buyer. He wants $40,000 as a down payment, which is about 10%. He wants a 6% interest rate, and he does not want paid off early. He actually has a 5-year prepayment penalty, which means if you pay it off early, there is a 25% penalty. That would be about $84,000, so that is steep. Now, before we keep going, I want to ask you, why would the seller want to do seller financing, and why would he make it such a big deal to pay it off early? If you answered to avoid capital gains tax, pat yourself on the back, you are a flipping genius. If he sells the property and realized a gain all at once, he'd owe a lot in taxes. So he's trying to avoid that. His immediate objective is to avoid taxes, not get a windfall of money that is heavily taxed. If my goal is to wholesale this deal, that would be fine as long as my buyer's okay with those terms. If my intent was to fix it up and flip it, obviously that would not work. Fortunately, I'm okay with those terms because my intention is to hold it as a long-term rental. So I told her I was okay with those terms, and then she proceeded to tell me that the deal might not cash flow. Take a listen.
Yeah, all of those terms are fine with me.
Okay, and the difficult thing is that the payments, it won't pencil as a rental. I mean, he'll amortize over 30 years, but the payment doesn't really pencil. And so that's important for you to know as well, that you might be supplementing this property above your rents.
Yeah.
It's going to be very close in there to equal. So, it might pay for itself.
Why? What are the rents?
And you maybe could get $2,500, but it's going to be really close.
And you're saying $2,500, that's after putting some money into it on a remodel.
Yes.
You're thinking, finish fixing it up. You can rent that house for $2,500 a month, and that $2,500 a month will maybe break even on your principal, interest, taxes, insurance.
Correct.
So if I fix it up, I can rent it for $2,500 a month or so, but after the principal and interest payment along with property taxes and insurance, the deal at best will break even, and that's not factoring in property management, vacancy, maintenance and repairs, or really anything else. So for a lot of people, this would not be a deal, but I'm in a bit of a different situation. My number one objective is the same as the seller's, to create tax benefits. Take a listen to my response.
Well, I mean, one of my primary objectives is the tax incentives, the depreciation write-off.
Okay.
So that is a big plus for me. I mean, I'd sure like to be positive, not negative on the monthly. Would he consider a 40-year to stretch out the monthly payment?
No, I think he likes the payment amount that he'd be getting.
Is he set on that 6% rate?
Well, he checked with the local banks yesterday, and he says he knows they're at 7. So he doesn't really want to go any lower.
Yeah, I mean, interest rates come and go, but yeah, he's right. An investor loan is going to be at the 7%. I'm just thinking of some ways to make that payment a little lower. What if it was a little bit more down? Would he be a little more flexible? Because then his security is higher.
No, he doesn't want more down.
Yeah, he must be doing a tax move as well.
Yeah, he doesn't want to pay capital gain by cashing it out right away. Take 5 years to do that slowly.
Yeah, I totally read between the lines on that for sure.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. I'm always thinking about tax strategy, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, which sometimes you make weird decisions based on the taxes you save, not the income it produces.
Right. Yes.
Which is still hard to get your head around sometimes. Like, wait a minute, I'm not going to make money on this, but I'm going to save in some taxes. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, right. I know, because it's kind of like you're making money, but you're just not giving it away.
Yeah, and he's making the same move. That's why he's trying to do seller finance.
So like the seller, I'm also looking first and foremost at the tax benefits. By the way, what are the tax benefits to me as the buyer? Well, to put simply, I can create a non-cash tax write-off in the form of depreciation. Here's how it works. The IRS will let me expense the property over 27 and a half years. So if I buy this house for $375,000, and let's say I subtract the land value of, let's say, $75,000, giving me a basis of $300,000. Well, $300,000 over 27 and a half years is approximately $11,000 in tax write-off over the next 27 and a half years that I own this building. That means if I'm not paying $11,000 in taxes, I'm making $11,000. So even if this property breaks even on the monthly rent, it's still making me $11,000 a year in tax benefits. And I could accelerate the tax benefit and take 7 years up front in year 1, giving me a $76,000 tax benefit. You gotta love real estate. But even with the tax benefits, I still tried to create monthly cash flow. I suggested 3 things to lower the monthly payment: extend the length of the loan to 40 years, a lower interest rate, or a bigger down payment, which she said no, the seller is pretty stuck on his terms. So next I tried to get the agent to give me inside information about what I can do to get the deal. Watch me point blank ask her where I need to be to get this deal. Take a listen.
So I guess tell me, Deb, what would I need to do to get to the front of the line? And then if I can make that work, I will. Like, what do I need to come in at right now to get the deal?
I can't really tell you one way or the other, but it's listed at $375.
And there's okay.
Down 6% interest. He'll amortize over 30 years. Ideally, the last offer is no contingency.
No contingency.
Okay, so her response was to not tell me, but rather to reiterate what the seller is asking, which is $375,000, $40,000 down, 6% interest, a 30-year loan with no contingencies. Now, I don't take no for an answer. Watch me push her again. Take a listen.
You broke up a little bit. I just want to make sure I'm understanding you. Right now, the deal is $375,000, 30-year AM, $40,000 down, 6% interest. That's what was on the table before. Is that what's going to get the deal, or something's got to beat that to get the deal?
Well, I cannot tell you that.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if you can like wink or something.
I can't do that. Say, bring your best offers.
Okay. Maybe you can at least tell me this. Is the offer on the table right now an owner-occupant or an investor?
Well, there are 3 offers. 2 are investors and 1 is owner-occupant.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I tried again to find out where I need to be to win the deal, and she would not tell me. So now I switched my focus to seeing the property and getting a written offer to the seller before she accepts one of the current offers. Take a listen. Okay, well, it's vacant. What do I got to do to take a look?
I have an appointment at 10, a closing at 10, and I can probably meet you right after that. Before we, have another agent involved, I can probably just go ahead and meet you at like 11:15. Would that work for you?
How much time do I have before they're going to sign something?
I don't know the answer to that, but I would guess it would be late this afternoon at the earliest.
Can you get the seller to hold off till, the end of the day to give us time to see it and write up an offer?
I can.
Okay.
He wants me to do what's best for the seller. So.
Yeah, so if you tell them, hey, I got another offer, let's get that one in too and take a look. Okay. I mean, if I say green light, how long will it take you to get an offer written up?
An hour.
Okay, well then we got time then.
Yeah.
So let's plan on 4.
Okay, that sounds fine. I'll meet you at the property at 4.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Deb.
All right. Sorry for the distraction.
No worries. Thank you. Okay, talk to you soon. Okay, bye.
Okay, so I got her to commit to not accept any of the current offers until I see the property and we write an offer. So what happens next? Well, I met Deb at the property, and in the part 2 video in this series, I'm going to show you how I was able to convince her to write the offer for me, which she did, and later that evening she presented my offer and the seller accepted it. So I'll go over what went into that offer and how I got it accepted. And also, while at the property, I figured out a way to maximize rents to create positive cash flow by converting it to a duplex. So it would no longer be a break-even deal on the rental income. So I'll break that down too, and I'll explain how the deal structure is actually a contract for deed, not seller financing. So you definitely don't want to miss the part 2 video in this series. By the way, I'll create a playlist of all of the videos in this series, and I'll put the link in the description below for you. Now, if you really like this style of video, be sure to let me know. Leave a comment and say, Jerry, you are a flipping genius. I love the Watch Me style deal breakdowns. Keep it coming. And let me know what questions you have so far as well. And finally, if learning how to build a thriving 6-figure and 7-figure real estate business is important to you, be sure to get my advanced training program called 8-Week Academy. Best of all, it's absolutely free. To get that right now, just go to 8weekacademy.com, and I'll see you on the next video.